What's going on, guys? Coach Chris here with Force Through Faith, and today we're going to be diving back into the butt wink, okay? What is it, what's causing it, and how to fix it. So again, the butt wink, guys, is when you're squatting, you're going down, 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 and your hips tuck underneath you at the bottom. It's where your spine flexes, your hips tuck underneath you, and on the way up, it comes back up. So last time I filmed a video on the butt wink, we talked about mobility, ways to measure if mobility is the issue, and then how to fix the mobility issue. So let's go past that and say mobility is not an issue. The next step is maybe stability is the issue, okay? And there's three main ways that stability could be the issue. One is in the upper back, two is in your core or midsection, and three is in your glutes or your hips. So going right down the body, we'll start with your upper back. Often this won't be the case if someone you see maybe doesn't really have much of a butt wink or none at all in like an air squat or a goblet squat, and then they get into a back squat or a front squat and it tends to be more prevalent. That could be there. They don't know how to keep their upper back tight. So utilizing the PVC pipe as if it's a bar, okay, I'm gonna back squat down, my hips tuck underneath at the bottom. If that's the case, you want to cue someone to pinch those shoulder blades together as they squat down, which will keep the bar rack nice and high and keep tension through the upper back. Another cue might be, having a big proud chest, flashing your chest to the wall in front of you, okay? So getting them to maintain tension in that upper back. Let's say you cue them and they still can't quite keep it tight enough to keep the chest from diving a little bit and the hips from butt winking, then giving them strengthening exercises, whether that's something called a prone shrug, where you're pulling those shoulder blades together while holding dumbbells, utilizing the crossover symmetry to strengthen the muscles around your scapula to create tension in that upper back, okay? Let's say that's not the issue, or at least not the most prevalent issue. The next step is through your core. A lot of people have trouble bracing through their core, taking that breath into their belly, bracing there and pushing out against their midsection, out against their diaphragm, creating that stability along their spine, okay? If that's the issue with someone, backtrack down and create some basic drills. One I like to do before is something called a 90-90 bracing drill. So what I would do is get a small box or against a wall. You'll put your feet on the box, 90-degree angle with your legs, 90-degree angle with your hips. Pinch this foam roller between your legs, drive the heels through the floor, and then you breathe in and out. In through your nose, out through your mouth, filling your stomach with air, creating tension through your lower half by driving your heels down into the box and breathing into your belly, okay? Another way is to maybe create a tactile cue of having someone put on a belt, not super tight, because they don't need that support necessarily through their back, which is what a belt's for, to create that a ton of tension in there. But maybe lightly on there and asking them to breathe out into it, creating that tension through their midsection. And then as they're doing an air squat or a goblet squat, you shouldn't have to create all that diaphragmatic tension with a deep breath, but you're training the body to feel what the tension is like through the midsection, which you should be able to easily maintain through a goblet squat and transfer that down, okay? The other thing, guys, is through your hips or your glutes. So a lot of times the butt wink happens because it gets to a certain point in the squat, the athlete can't keep tension through their glutes anymore, so things tuck under and around. You can do various glute med exercises, clamshells, side shuffles with a band around the knee, and all that is going to help strengthen and activate that muscle. However, you also have to carry that over into the movement itself, okay? I've worked with clients where I've done every PT drill under the sun. They got underneath the barbell and the issue still exists. It's because you haven't trained the brain to correlate that to the movement itself, okay? So what I do like to use is throw a band on the knees. I'll grab the PVC pipe again. Throw the PVC pipe on your back. Okay, this band that I have around my knees is not a lot of tension, okay? Because I'll use those PT exercises or those accessory exercises to create strength in the glute med, but in the movement itself, right now I don't want this here to create strength in there. I want it to create a tactile cue to help activate the glute med to push those knees out to keep the hips stable. So with the bar on my back or even on my front for a front squat, I have my tactile cue. I'm going to cue the athlete, hey, push out against that band as you squat down. So I push out, 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 out. I'm able to squat down into the bottom of my squat without the rounding, drive back up through the middle of my foot, simultaneously pushing out against the band. Okay, again, this is here as a tactile cue to help create awareness around pushing the band out, or pushing the band out with the knees, all right? Because as coaches, you hear all the time, especially in the level 1, chest up, knees out, chest up, knees out, chest up, knees out. The problem is I can push my knees out and still round, okay? Because I can push my knees out without necessarily activating my glute med. So using a cue like push the floor apart creates tension through my glutes and my hips. Putting the tactile cue of a band around, I push out against the band, that little bit of resistance plus the tactile cue creates tension through my glutes and my hips, allowing me to maintain tension through my whole squat, okay? So again, phase 1, look at the mobility, make sure they have the range of motion to achieve that full squat without a butt wink. If that's not the issue, looking at stability, making sure they have awareness around the stability in the main points, the upper back, the midsection or core, and your glutes or hips. And then if that's not the issue, the next video next week we'll talk about creating those motor pathways and practicing the movement of a squat to take someone from an immature squat with a butt wink to a more mature squat. Okay, so take a look at these movements, practice it out with your athletes, and let's create better squatters out there.